we're writing again. The book's currently at 19,510 words. That is without including my brainstorm document. I finished the scene I was working on yesterday. It's the middle, of course. Chapters like 4 through 10 right now are, well, I guess 4 through 9 are very scarce. Really, chapters 4 to 8. I only have like a vague outline of things. And that's the middle, and that's like where shit needs to happen, you know? And okay, so in my outline right now, I only have 20 chapters. So I'm sure the chapters will increase as I go, but this is just the format I have right now. Just for pacing for myself. I'm trying to structure it like a ballet or like a play. So at the beginning, there's a prelude, then there's Act 1, intermission, Act 2, finale. And right now, there's the prelude, which is like 1 chapter. Act 1, there's 8 chapters. Intermission, there's 1 chapter. And then Act 2, there is 7 chapters. That's gonna increase. And then finale, there's 4 chapters. Yeah, that's kind of the structure I'm rocking with right now. I need to work on chapter 4. It's what I've been scrolling past, continuing to scroll past, and I just haven't written the scenes. Because I don't have a clear picture of how I want them to go. I was watching some videos about structuring and all of this. I've been watching videos by Abby Emmons, and then also Claire Fraze, and also Anna New. So those are like the 3 authors that I'm currently watching videos by. I'm like taking notes on their videos about structure and when writing a scene, like what you need to know. And so I guess going into this scene, I'm going to, well, I already have like a little description of what I want to happen in this scene, but I'm going to try to find a little more structure with the notes that I've taken. So before writing a scene or when writing a scene, I have to know the purpose of the scene, why I need it, and what changes for my main character, Caroline. This is the current thing that I have written out that I wrote probably months ago, and it might change. We'll see. She meets up with her old dance teacher, and they have a conversation about what happened to her, and she gets roped into teaching kids summer dance camp, like a couple days a week or something. She doesn't want to at first because she wants to distance herself from it as much as possible. She also doesn't want to pass on any trauma to them, like from dance or from the recent experience that she just had. But Pat and her friend Eliza point out that she doesn't have to. That's her choice. If she doesn't want anyone else going through what she went through, she can make a change in the way that dance and ballet is taught. Since Pat is a professor, I think he can have good advice for her. And then Eliza is also just like very bubbly and optimistic and good with kids just because she kind of acts like a kid sometimes. So that's why Caroline reaches out to those two for advice on that. So that's kind of what I have. So why I need this scene. She needs, and what changes for the main character. Caroline needs to meet up with her old dance teacher because the dance studio is on the green. There's the green in the middle of the town, and that's where this snack bar is that Finn and Will work at. And then that's also where the dance studio is that she grew up dancing at with Kate. And so she's there all the time, and she's going to have to confront what happened to her at the dance company. Of course, she's getting pulled back in nostalgia and to her childhood and what her dance experience was like before going to this dance company that she had a bad experience at. why I need it. She needs to face her past experiences, and this teacher that she had growing up that was great and that believed in her and that pushed her, and that she really trusts. She needs to talk to her. And then what changes for the character? I think, well, she ran away from the dance company, essentially, and she's trying to push away anything that involves dance, and she doesn't want to be involved with it anymore. She's like, it hurt me. I want to stay away from it. I don't want to have anything to do with it right now. And so while she's figuring that out, her dance teacher's going to offer for her to teach, to give her some money over the summer. And what changes in this scene, I want at the beginning her to be avoiding it, and then at the end she doesn't cave, but she decides, I can do this. It's okay if I do this. I'm not afraid of doing this, I guess. And I think this is just the tip of the iceberg with her helicopter, with her healing her relationship with dance. Just the tip of the iceberg, and that whole healing journey happens over the whole book. But in this specific scene, I want her to have reassurance that just because dance hurt her, she doesn't have to completely avoid it. And just because she was hurt doesn't mean that she has to pass that hurt on to the children that she teaches. And again, she's not going to learn all of that in the course of 2 days, but that's kind of going to be the message that Pat and Eliza and her dance teacher, Miss Genevieve, tell her. So, the main character's goal. Every main character has a goal, have scene goals. So in this scene, her goal is just to talk to Miss Genevieve. And I think these scenes, there needs to be like 2 different scenes here. So it's one where she's talking to Miss Genevieve, and then another where she talks to Pat and Eliza. Her goal is to talk to Miss Genevieve. She wants to seek comfort in Miss Genevieve, and I guess she wants validation in her choice to leave the dance company. That's what she wants in that scene. When she's talking to Pat and Eliza, she wants someone to tell her what to do, essentially. The obstacle, satisfying payoff, make it interesting. What is the obstacle? The obstacle, I think, is her fear and her hurt, and she's trying to avoid dance of any kind. Of any kind. Cliffhanger pushes into the next chapter. I don't know how long these scenes are gonna be. They might take up a full chapter, they might not. So cliffhanger is gonna be right before she makes the decision if she's going to accept the offer to teach the classes or not. Well, yeah, her goal is also to make money. And so what changes is she's a little less afraid and she's a little more confident in herself. Okay, cool. That was actually very helpful. You know what? I'm like thinking about too many things in the bigger picture, and I need to just narrow it down and just focus on these scenes right here. I'm just gonna look at my calendar of the book. So this happens the day after the burrito scene happens. Okay, here we go. Okay, so I like what I have so far. We've got 165 words. It's small, but it's a start. That is the washing machine, if you hear that. Anyway, Miss Genevieve texted me bright and early this morning asking to meet for coffee. This could mean a few things. One, she just wanted to catch up with her favorite former student, other than Kate, of course. Two, she wanted to know what the hell I was doing back here and not at a summer training workshop. Or three, she needed me to do something for her. I'm guessing all three of these topics of conversation will come up. Great. I love her, don't get me wrong, but the relationship you have with your childhood dance teacher is a complex one. At least ours is. Miss G, as we are now allowed to call her since we have graduated, is Kate's aunt, and I have known her since I was 5 years old. I am closer to her than any of my teachers from elementary or high school, and she is the reason I am the dancer I am today. Or was, before I quit. Yeah, okay. I like it. I went out. I was like, is my laptop smoking right now? Oh. Well, it's a vibe, I guess. Okay, I'll be back when I've written this scene. Okay, I'm getting distracted again. I'll be back. Here's the thing. There have been many points while writing this book, of course over the last 3 years, where I have been like, I don't want to write this anymore. And so I got about halfway through this scene, and then I got bored and distracted. And it happens, I compare a lot. I compare myself to others in every aspect of my life. So of course I'm going to compare myself as a writer to other writers. Of course we all know the saying, comparison is the thief of joy. And damn, ain't that fucking true, because I've seen so many writers on TikTok just say like they're having such a breeze and they're writing like at least 1,000 words a day every day of the week, and like carving out hours and hours a day to write, and like they feel so inspired and productive, and they're getting their book done in like 6 months. And I mean, like, I've already not hit those marks, and I've not been holding myself to strict deadlines with this book because it's not my main thing right now. It's not my main thing in life. I was in college. I was training with a dance company. I was working. This fall, this end of summer and fall transition has been very stressful for me, with trying to find a job, multiple jobs, and finding some sense of normal and stability. It's okay if I'm not writing 1,000 words a day, 5 days a week. And I know that. I guess also the thing is, people that I've been seeing online, writers and stuff, are just like so inspired by their story, and like I am inspired by my story and I am excited by it. That's why I'm still writing it, because I still care about it and I still think that I have something to say with it. I think it's an important story to write for myself and for others who have gone through what this main character has gone through. And I love the characters, and I do like this story, and I think it's going to be really fun, and I am excited to read it. Like, there have been so many times when I have just been procrastinating writing, but at the same time I'm like, I just want to read this book. Like, I just want to read my book. But babes, you have to write it in order to be able to read it, you know? But the process is also hard. It is a challenge. As I've said a million times before, I haven't done this before. So I'm figuring out what works. I did just reach, let me see, 20,029 words in total in the manuscript. First draft. Again, we're in our first draft. And like, I low-key hate the scene I'm writing. It's not that I hate it. It's good. It's fine. It's fine. I have just been feeling like with the scene that I wrote this week and this one, my main character Caroline is very flat. I haven't been like digging into her, going deep into her thoughts and feelings as much as I want to. Like, it's very telling, not showing, you know? And I want to show, not tell. And I'm trying to be mindful of my sentence structure and like diverse sentence structures and descriptions and dialogue, and having a balance of all of that, because I'm really trying not to start all my sentences with I did this, he did that, they did this happened. Like, that is one of the things when I'm reading a book that I'm like, ugh, I hate this. Oh my God, I get it. Okay, this is boring. I hate it. So like, obviously I don't want to write like that. But again, this is the first draft. So I recognize that I am trying my hardest and trying to make this book perfect. I'm a friggin' perfectionist. Like, of course, I'm trying to make it perfect on the first go, but I also need to remind myself to be realistic, and that all the first draft has to do is exist. It does not have to be good. The whole thing's probably going to be very bad, and once I finish it, I'm probably going to hate the story. But at the same time, every time I work on it, every time I write a little scene, every time I think about it, I get excited. I still want to read this book after 3 years. And it has developed so much in the past 3 years. Here, I'm going to bring you closer. It has developed so much in the past 3 months. Not 3 months. I mean, yes, 3 months even, but 3 years. What started out as like a cutesy little summer romance book has turned into something deeper. And I am so excited about what it's going to turn into. And I'm happy that it has taken this long, because it was such a loose idea when I first thought of it. And I think that the story now is much deeper and more complex. And hopefully the growth that Caroline goes through will be more impactful than it would have been if I wrote it 3 years ago. Because, again, I'm basing Caroline's experiences and character off of some of my own personal experiences in the dance world and some things that have happened to me. I have grown. I have healed a lot in the past 3 years. I've been in therapy for 3 years, which has had a huge impact on me. I have stepped away from full-time dance training in the past 3 years. I have done other things. I've worked in different fields. I've finished college. I have had a lot of time to think about my relationship with dance. And it's still developing. It's still hard. And sometimes it's still heartbreaking to think about. That is just the reality. But Caroline, she's at the beginning of this journey. She is essentially who I was 3 years ago. That's where she's starting her story. I don't know where I'm going with this, but I think now that I have gone through this growth over the past 3 years, I am better able to write Caroline's journey in this story, because I've been at the worst of it. I've been at the beginning. I've gone through that feeling of not knowing what to do next, and that feeling of being lost, and that grief and that fear of not knowing what to do next. And that's where she is for the first half of this story, really. And I'm not saying that by the end of the story, which takes place over one summer, which is like 2.5 months, she's not going to obviously get to the level of growth and healing that I'm at 3 years later. But we're going to see an obvious change in her and in her mindset surrounding where she is in life. And it's going to kind of be the beginning of the next steps of what she's going to do next in her life. That's what's going to happen for Caroline. And yeah, again, I don't think I would be able to write that if I hadn't had the perspective I do now and the hindsight that I do now. Because obviously when you're writing a story, you have to know beginning, middle, and end. You have to know how it ends. I know how it ends, at least in the time frame of the book. I hope that with this book and with the 2 other books, I can show and tell and heal my experiences. And hopefully other people, other dancers, can relate. I don't know where I started this tangent, but I guess circling back to the beginning, when I'm feeling like I don't want to write a scene, or I'm bored with the story, or I'm hating the book, I ultimately come to, I know why I want to write this book. I still care about it. It still inspires me and excites me. And I'm going to finish it. I don't know when, but it's going to happen because I want to for myself. And if it does get out there, published in some way, hopefully others can relate to it and feel understood in some way. I think that's going to be it for this video. This is kind of just a video diary / vlog for myself, for me to look back on, I guess. If anyone can relate to it, that's great. Until next time. Bye.